Hello, I'm Noah Finns, and we have a special treat for you here on Inside Yale Athletics, sponsored by Under Armour. Former football coach Carm Koza got to Yale in 1963 as an assistant football coach, and in 1965 took over as head coach. And from the moment he stepped foot on campus, worked to make Yale a better place. He's not just an icon here, but throughout all of college sports. In fact, he was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame. Recently, Coach took some time with me, not just to reminisce about his illustrious career, but relive some of those wonderful moments here at Yale Bowl. Coach Carm Koza, does it seem like yesterday?
It really does.
Coming out of this tunnel for the first time, go back to 1965, the start of your 32-year career as head coach here. What was it like coming out of this tunnel?
Well, you know, you feel like you're a gladiator coming into the big arena, and I'm sure my players felt the same way. And it was really exciting because in those days we drew a lot of people. There were a lot of fans here already. And it was an exciting time for me, and I had never been a head coach. And so it was very special. It was a moment that I'll never forget.
Do you have any idea when you first walk out this tunnel that it's going to be the run that you had?
You know, I never thought I would be here 32 years, and it was the best thing that happened to me because I had the privilege of coaching some of the finest young men on this planet. And the best thing that happened to me is almost all of them graduated. I think I counted 7 that didn't get degrees out of the some 2,000 that I was privileged to coach, and that is very special. Of course, this university is very special.
Would you mind walking around the field a little bit and taking us back through some of your great memories in your wonderful years here?
Not at all. Let's do it.
So this is your domain here,
Yeah.
except you didn't do as much walking as some of the other coaches.
No, I was kneeling down.
Statue of you doing just that at your alma mater, Miami of
Yeah,
Ohio.
they said, what was the position you were in the most? And I said, well, I probably was praying a lot, and I think I was kneeling down.
So you start in 1965, right? September's your first game. For the first year, the first 2 seasons, it didn't necessarily go as you had hoped, right?
My first game, I had the distinction of being the first coach to ever lose to a school in Connecticut, and I did it in the opener against UConn, and it was tough. But we were able to win a couple ball games, and then the next year we won 4 games, and then I got smart. We had recruited Calvin Hill and Brian Dowling and people like that, and all of a sudden everything turned for us.
Was Calvin Hill, you think about him as a player here and then going on to the NFL and having the success that he did, and it was so well known he was a Yale guy, did that have any impact on the program moving forward?
Oh, I'm sure it did. He's the one player I had that probably could have started at all 22 positions. I thought they may even use him as a tight end in the pros because he was big, he was strong, he was fast. I think he still owns the triple jump record here. He was, you know, just an incredible athlete and fortunately a real good human being. We were down near that end zone, and we ran a pitch sweep, which we called 28, and we ran it a couple times with Dick, and you know, we were not a good passing team.
Everyone wanted you to throw the ball.
Yeah, everybody said, "Yeah, throw the ball, throw the ball." And I said, "No, we're going to give it to the best player we got." And we pitched it to him, and he broke it. And he got to about the 50-yard line.
Right about here.
Right. And for whatever reason, I took off.
So you start running down the sideline this way.
Side to the sideline, and then I went into the end zone, and I grabbed him and I hugged him, and he looked at me as if to say, you know, what are you doing here? And then the funny part was the official. You know, he didn't know what to do. He really should have flagged me, but he didn't. He just sort of, you know, well, this guy must have been excited, which I sure was. I got here, and when he got here, I beat him. I beat him at the end. I let him know about that, and I hugged him. I mean, it was because the game was lost until that happened, and it was just a spectacular run, and it was a moment that I'll never forget. Another one in this end zone was in '67 when we were playing Harvard, which is a similar, almost a comparable game to the one we had the following year in '68 that you hear so much about, the tie.
Yeah.
Brian went to his right and slipped and fired into the left part of the end zone and hit Del Marting. Hit Del Marting for the score. those are moments, like I say, you never forget. We were playing Penn, and we needed just 3 points. So we were running side outs, quick one, and Bob caught, I think, 1 or 2 of them. Then the third one, he puts a juke on the defensive back and runs in the end zone. There's only 5 seconds left, and all we needed was a field goal. And I couldn't believe it when he did that, but fortunately he made it. So he lived to see another day.
Right, because if he gets tackled,
yeah, if he gets tackled,
over.
the game's over. Right, exactly right. Yeah, I remember him telling me, he says, "Coach, I know what you're worried about. We still have 5 seconds." No. He's a coach now. He's a defensive coordinator.
Do you relive some of these moments with these guys?
At Tennessee, yeah, I do. And I said to myself, yeah, are you on the other side now? Now you're going to understand how I felt. 1980, we played the Air Force here, and we were fortunate enough to beat them. They too were ahead of us, and we came back and beat them. But the Navy game was probably the biggest win for me outside the league, no doubt about it. They were up 12-0 right off the bat, and I remember telling Seb Laspina, who was standing to my right, who was our offensive coach, I said, "They're going to break our scoreboard if we don't do something here." All of a sudden, we did some right things. Kurt Grieve was an outstanding wideout. He was around 6'4", played in the blue-gray game, could really get up in the air. He's from Pittsburgh area. And John Rogan was a real accurate quarterback. We ended up winning the ball game, but the great catch by Kurt Grieve right in the corner here ended up winning the ball game.
Did you run down and get him?
No, I couldn't run as fast then.
So, but why does that game stand out as you're kind of isolating these games?
Well, in those days, no one in the league, I don't believe, played the Naval Academy at that time or the Air Force Academy. Some played Army a little later on, but not those 2 teams. And then to have my former coach be up in the press box doing the play-by-play, and we were on regional ABC. So it was very special. So a lot of my friends and a lot of the players' families, everyone got to see the game on TV that couldn't be here. And it was a special game. John Pagliaro was an outstanding running back from Derby, and he won the Bushnell Award, which is the outstanding player in the league. The only player I had do that back to back. And he was one of the main reasons when I was offered the directorship here, I gave it back because he was a junior, and I remember him coming in, even went into the president and said, could we have the same coaches again next year? And I was wavering anyway. So that's when I decided, I stayed on that whole year as a director as well, but then gave it back and stayed on coaching.
Let's talk real briefly about when you decided that was enough. Was it 96?
Yeah.
And you say this is going to be it for you, a 32-year coaching career. Not too many people have those.
Yeah, you get tired. Recruiting was much more difficult than it is now. We went into May actually in recruiting. Nowadays they're done in January. It was very difficult until the last player we recruited graduated. Once he graduated, I didn't feel the same connection. It was, I wanted to make sure he got a degree, which he did. Then shortly after, they wondered if I would be willing to do the radio, and I said, yeah, I think that might be fun. So I still do the color on radio and enjoy it.
Member of the media now.
Member of the media, yeah. I said, yeah, I see the other side now. Football here meant so much with Walter Camp, actually inventing the game, as they say, and so many, we had more wins than anyone. I had the privilege of still coaching them when Yale had the most victories in the country. And of course, then Michigan, those other teams are playing 2 and 3 more games than we were, and then they got ahead of us. But Yale's tradition here has been wonderful in football. I mean, you just can't beat it. And this Yale Bowl, which was built in 1914, I used to kid my teammate and good friend Bo Schembechler at Michigan. I said, you guys know you copied the big house after the Yale Bowl, and of course so was the Rose Bowl copied off of this.
Coach, a 32-year Hall of Fame coaching career. We could talk all day about the great moments here at Yale Bowl and with you at the helm, Yale football. thank you so much for taking this time and taking this little stroll down memory lane.
Well, it's been fun for me too. Like I said, I had the privilege of coaching some of the finest young men on this planet, and around 2,000 of them to be exact, and to be able to reminisce about some of their great plays and some of the outstanding things they did is fun for me too. Thanks.
You can still see Coach Coes on campus and on game days here at the Bowl doing the radio broadcasts. I want to thank you for tuning in to Inside Yale Athletics, sponsored by Under Armour. Until next time, we'll see you on campus.